All right, I'm listening to you now.
We're still going at 48.
Yeah, I'm still here. I just figured I'd get on so you can give a countdown.
You're still wanting to go at the 48?
At the 48, please.
Okay, just making sure.
I appreciate you.
Two minutes still intro. One minute till intro. $30 till intro. $15. Starting intro now. $30 till go. $15. 10, 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome one, welcome all to historic Tasker Arena here in beautiful Titletown, New Mexico, Hobbs, where Hobbs Lady Eagles are getting ready to take on the Cavegirls of Carlsbad on International Women's Day. And what better place to celebrate International Women's Day than with a great women's basketball game. And with me, as always, my right-hand man, Ty Friend.
Yep, should be a good one, Coach. Of course, the Hobbs Lady Eagles know what it is about being in the playoffs. Since 2018, Coach Joey Carpenter's got them here. Records of 30-2, 29-3, 29-1. Last year, 12-1. Two of those were state championships, and they're working on that again this year. Not the highest seed that they've ever had at the state tournament, but of course now they have to play their arch rival from district for the fourth time this season.
And you know, that's always like one of them trap games in there, because you've seen somebody 4 times, you kind of figure out what they do. Of course, the reverse is we know what they do as well. There's not going to be very many surprises left to kind of display, and you really know how to prepare for each other, and the team that prepares better has an advantage.
Yeah, of course, talking about Carlsbad, a squad that really kind of had the Lady Eagles on the ropes. The second game, you were at that when I wasn't, but it was a 2-point ball game.
And that was actually a ball game, but we were down 19 at the half, down 23 at one point, and came back in the game. Coach Carpenter made adjustments at halftime that kind of flipped the script in that game, but not something that you want to do here. Carlsbad was really prepared for that game. Lady Eagles had to adjust on the fly. I wonder who's going to be more prepared tonight.
Well, you know, adjustments, something happened last week, too, of that game against Piedra Vista, the team out of Farmington. Hobbs was on the ropes for a little bit of that game, down by 1 point at the end of the first, 15-14. Game got tied up at halftime, 28-all. Still a 1-point game at the end of the third, 41-40 in favor of Hobbs. But that fourth quarter seems to be the one that gets the Lady Eagles over the hump. They outscored their opponent there from Farmington 23-12, plus 11 to end up winning that ball game by 64-52. And rebounding definitely was the big thing there, 42-26. And did we have to mention who we're talking about most of that? Anaya Joseph with a total of 18 boards.
And, you know, rebounding is something that can really wear a team out. If you're out rebounding the entire game and you're getting more possessions, there comes a point where a team just kind of lays down. You just can't keep up anymore. Same thing happens with the press, and that's something we do very well.
I know one thing that's been kind of an issue with some of these games, even though the Hobbs has been blowing out a lot of teams this year, is the penetration. Lene Billy, for example, from Piedra Vista, 27 points, got on the free throw line a bit, 9 of 12 on the line, 75% there. So we can't keep allowing those people to penetrate the lane. We got to get some help side out there so we don't have people on the line for most of these quarters.
Well, a lot of times we take the risks on the outside because we know we've got some pretty good bodies waiting for them down low. But when you have a person that can get to that rim and finish on you, that gets your post in foul trouble. That puts you kind of behind the mark.
I'm not sure if Carlsbad has a kid like that, although we do know that there's one that has been doing pretty decent. A couple of them, actually. Of course, Alexa Duggan is one of those. She had 14 in the district championship game. Other players that can step up for them, too. There's another Duggan. There's 2 of them on the same team, the sisters, Abby and Alexis, so they can score. Morgan Boatwright's got some size inside. She can definitely do some stuff, too. Of course, Kylie Estrada hit 9 points against him as well. But the Lady Eagles, though, they've got some double threats. Anaya Joseph in that Piedra Vista game, 20 points and 17 rebounds. Kendall Cunningham, I thought she had one of her better games this season that you've seen, I'm sure, too. 16 points in that game, so definitely getting big. And that was a double-double for her as well with 11 rebounds. Definitely like to see that. There's been a lot of games where she's had boards but not enough points, and we saw a good combo that time.
And I think one thing about Cunningham is you've seen her improve greatly over the course of the season. At the initial part of the season, you'd see her get rebounds, especially offensive rebounds, and she'd bring that ball down to her hips. And when she did that, guards would tie her up, everything else, it was turnovers. She'd have to fight through hands to try to get shots off. Well, she's keeping the ball up higher now. It's starting to click that you keep it up near your chin, you rotate from there, and now she's able to get her shots up high above people because she's got that size. And that was one way I've seen her really improve this season.
Another girl that did step up against Piedra Vista, Bryn Hargrove, stroked 2 3-pointers in that game, finished with 10 points. So definitely going to need those outside shooters. Jayla David, who was injured a few weeks back and still has a brace on her left knee at this point. I think it's all rubber. It's not the mechanical ones. But she had 12 points, and she had 3 trays herself. That girl's got a good stroke in the paint when she gets a rebound. She's off the floor so quick. A lot of people just standing flat-footed trying to get underneath her, but she's already over the rim by that time. But she really got her shot going down in that win over Piedra Vista.
And, you know, that's one thing. When I look at Jayla David, I see a person that has the tools to be a Division I basketball player as a guard. I know she plays post here mostly, but she has that outside shot. She has the ability to control the ball, and she's got size. She's one of those players that can be multifunctional for you. She can draw people outside, and if your post is too slow, she can drive on you. Or if you have to guard her with somebody small, she can go down low and dominate. I think that's a great weapon to have off the bench.
And she's a friggin' freshman.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, with the exception of Joseph, who's a sophomore, and Hall, who's a senior, they're all freshmen.
Right, and they've really had to step up, with the injury at the early part of the season with their top scorer. Of course, a lot of adjustments had to be made. I think we were talking before the game, too. You mentioned how Coach Carpenter's had to adjust a lot with his lineups.
Yeah, they were at that tournament in the Metroplex when Wisdom Anthony went down, and they ended up losing 4 straight games. And he had to adjust his coaching to what he had. He's done so. And you've seen those girls steadily improve. We are not the same team we were at the start of the season. When we lost the game against against Gallup in the holiday tournament, that was kind of an eye-opener because we played so close, and doing it without our star said something about the growth. And we're even better now than we were then.
And we talked about this in the Pieter Vista game last week, too. The perimeter defense that we saw with the guards stepping up really started to give Pieter Vista some fits, not getting those wide-open trays that were starting the early part of the game. Thing about it is, Hobbs averaging close to 12 steals a contest, but they are giving up the ball close to 17 times on the turnovers. You got to take control of it, especially bench personnel. We've seen that several times. Coach will bring in 2 or 3 players, and we start to see some fumbles. He's starting to get a little frustrated about that, and you can't let it down even in the fourth quarter. This is the playoffs now, and they're not another game if you lose that, what you're at right now.
And that's something that happens with players who are freshmen. I mean, turnovers are a lot of them. You've worked on your shooting, you've worked on the offensive side of the game, but the ball handling and the speed of the game is different than you're used to. So as freshmen, you're still growing and adjusting to the varsity game, as opposed to somebody who's been there 4 years that knows the speed of somebody coming off the jump, the pass on the wing. You don't give up as many turnovers, and that's growing pains that happen with young kids.
I'll tell you what, Coach, Carlsbad just happy to be here. They only won by 2 against Cleveland. It was on their home court, so Cleveland had to do a little bit of a travel to get there, but still kind of breathing a sigh of relief, and now they have to come back and play Hobbs again for the 4th time, as we mentioned. One thing you notice about Carlsbad in terms of their point production this year in district, for example, they only averaged 30.3 points a game and gave up 30.8. So the 30 offensively doesn't sound good at all, but when you look at the 30.8 that you're giving up, that's pretty good D being played.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's slow down games. I believe they won one of their games like 19-17. It was something ungodly low. Had to be probably the most boring game to watch. Both teams slowing it down and holding it outside, waiting impatiently for nothing. And they're not able to do that on us. We pressure people very well, and that's something I've noticed, a big change in both the second half of that game at their place, the game at our place. We're starting to push their buttons and make them make passes they don't want to make. Sure, sometimes you give up a couple of layups that way, but you make them play at our pace. And if they can't keep up and play with our pace, then they're going to falter off at some point. And they don't play deep. Last time, they only played 7 players, Carlsbad. So you knew that you're going to wear them out. You knew they're not going to be able to go deep in their bench. And it'd be interesting to see how Coach Inlow adjusts today.
Yeah, the Hobbs Lady Eagles averaging 28 more points a game in district, 58 compared to 30. So that tells you right there. And Hobbs is only giving up 28, so they're even giving up less points than what Carlsbad is, even though Hobbs has got a high, potent offense.
Yeah, but that a lot of that is going to be the pressure from the outside. A lot of the teams in our district were having trouble getting across half court, much less getting shots against us. And it's something that we have the talent to pressure people, and we've got to do that. The question is, can we play in a way where we don't get into foul trouble, where we can play with our depth and use all of our girls?
Yeah, it should be a good one to finish up the last game at home. Hobbs, of course, have 2 in a row here with the opening round last week, Pieter Vista, and now, of course, Carlsbad. That means the winner of this game goes to Albuquerque finally. They won't play until Thursday, so they have 1 day of travel, which is tomorrow morning for either team, Carlsbad or Hobbs. So very quick turnaround up on the schedule next. Possibly La Cueva, the number 3 seed, and a team the Lady Eagles have already played this season, Oregon Mountain, which they blew out bad on January 3rd, 70-41. So that's the other team that's playing against La Cueva tonight. Kind of interested to see who's going to win that ball game, to see either Hobbs or Carlsbad going to take them on.
And, I don't put a whole lot of stock into comparing numbers in games. Style of play comes into factor, stuff like that. But it does give you a benchmark. It does give you kind of a place to go off of. Oregon Mountain is a 6th seed. They knocked off Albuquerque 61-50. And La Cueva came up with a 41-32 victory over Sandia. Looks like they're going to go to the national anthem. We'll throw it back to the station. We'll take a 2-minute break. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
2 minutes, please.
$30. $15. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena. Hobbs Lady Eagles getting ready to take on the Cavegirls of Carlsbad. And Ty, any last-minute thoughts here? Both teams coming on the floor for introductions here. What's on your mind?
Well, pretty big blowout. Last time they played for that district tournament championship a little over a week ago, 56-39. Eagles getting the big win by 17 in that game. Anaya Joseph, 17 points, 18 rebounds, dominating big. Brett Clay had 14 in that game, so those two combined for 31 of the total 56 points. So got to get a lot of bench help to continue on to get onto this next plateau at the semifinals on Thursday. Carlsbad's answer to the Lady Eagles in that district championship, 14 from Alexa Duggan. She was perfect on the line, 3 for 3. And then also just one other girl getting close to double figures, Kylie Estrada, who didn't really score throughout much of the series, but she did get 9 in that game, but was perfect on the charity stripe, 6 for 6. We don't want to give the Carlsbad Cavegirls a chance to get easy bennies at the free throw line.
Yeah, I think that's a big thing right there. Not letting them get backdoor passes to Boatwright's huge, and taking away uncontested threes. I think that would be my biggest key to the game.
And the rebounding was domination for Hobbs in that one, 40-15. So, of course, Anaya Joseph just cleaning up on both sides of the board there.
And coming into this, Carlsbad's probably a bit frustrated having those 3 straight losses. They had their chance at home. It was in their hands, up at one point, 23 points, and then just throwing it all away. And that's got to sit bad with them that they got blown out the next game. So it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. If they come out thinking they have a chance, or they come out just kind of flat going la-di-da.
Let me quickly get your starting lineups, Coach. Carlsbad, the Cavegirls, Alexa Duggan. Of course, she did play against the Lady Eagles this season in the district. She averaged 6 points a contest against Hobbs. Abby Duggan, her sister, is also going to be starting tonight. They don't always start together, but this time they are. They did make a little bit of change up on their lineup. She's averaging 2.3 points a game and has had a couple of 3-pointers against the Lady Eagles. Mariana Sepulveda, a starter for the Cavegirls as well, averaging 4.6 against Hobbs. Morgan Boatwright, their big post players we mentioned several times. She's averaging 7.3 points a game. And Kylie Estrada, who had a breakout against the Lady Eagles last time they played with 9 points. She's also starting tonight. And she's averaging just 1.3 points a game, but does have 2 3-pointers. So Coach Matt Inlow and the Cavegirls 22-7, and we're 4-2 in district. For your Hobbs Lady Eagles, Erilyn Hall, the starting point guard. Of course, she's definitely a nice dish-out artist there, averaging 4.5 points a contest. Brett Clay coming in at 8.4 points a game and close to 6 rebounds. She is currently second on the team in boards right now. Bryn Hargrove, one of their sharpshooters on the squad, starting tonight at one of the guard positions. She's averaging 6.3 points a ball game and is first in assists at 2.7. Kendall Cunningham with that big game against Piedra Vista last week. Definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with inside the paint. She's averaging 7.5 points a game and is currently second on the team in rebounding at 6.8. Last but not least, averaging a double-double this season, Anaya Joseph. She's just dominating all over the place. Still not a senior yet either. 14.9 a game, leading the team so close to 15, and leads his team in rebounds at close to 13 a game. So in some games, we see more rebounds than points.
Well, I think the rebounds are the key factor because sometimes you have trouble getting against that zone, good looks from down low. If they can dump that ball in, good offensive rebounds from the opposite side, put that back, you're still getting your post points.
Eagles averaging 38% from the field this season, 24% from three-point range, and just shy of 60% at the line. They average about 15 free throws a ball game that they get to shoot and make about 9 of those if you want to get the bigger, closer numbers there on that. But every free throw is going to count in games like this. Hobbs when it gets to the semifinals coming up on Thursday.
And Anaya Joseph lined up there for the tip against Morgan Boatwright. We're about to get underway here. Hobbs Lady Eagles in their home whites, black stripe and white inlay on the black numerals. Carlsbad in their roadie blues, of course, with the black numerals that are very difficult to see. But we're going to do our best here. Referee's blown the whistle, and here we go. Tips up, won by Joseph, and the Lady Eagles get started. Hargrove crosses half court, goes right side to Hall on the wing. Hall back to Hargrove. Hargrove with a left-handed dribble goes top of the key. Looks back door, instead goes over the top at the free throw line to Joseph. Joseph pivots, looks inside. There's Cunningham. Cunningham with the right hand up off the glass, no good. Rebounded by Boatwright, and Carlsbad has their first possession. Carlsbad to Dugan, left side. Here comes Alexa Dugan. Across the timeline, Alexa Dugan being checked by Hall. She backs out. She's got a 5-second count going. She's going to drive with the right hand, pushes off, no call, comes back top of the key. It's going to be in the hands of Sepulveda. Sepulveda with the right hand dribble. Let's check that. That's Alexa Dugan. Dugan's going to have it knocked out of her hands. Abby Dugan, she spins around. Hargrove's waiting for her. Carlsbad's gone nowhere. She's driving, almost stolen away. Here's Alexa Dugan, near side Boatwright. Joseph's closed her out. Now Boatwright's trying to dribble. She's lost it. Boatwright's going to hand top of the key. Here's the drive into the corner. Takes a look. That's Estrada. She doesn't want it. Goes back to Dugan. Estrada in the left wing. Carlsbad has a good possession here as far as keeping it time-wise, but they have not been able to get anywhere near the basket.
No threat whatsoever. Hobbs really on top of them around the perimeter, keeping their hands up in the air, too, which is a good sign for the defense.
Abby Dugan now being checked by Joseph. Dugan's going to spin around. She's going to drive. Joseph throws it into the bench. And Nia Joseph announces her presence early in this game.
Looked like a volleyball spike on that one, and a complete attack on the leather that time. Didn't see any of the hand getting involved on that block.
Under the attacking basket, here comes Carlsbad to inbound. It comes to Alexa Dugan, left side. Abby Dugan, top of the key. Dugan goes into Sepulveda. She's going to spin drive. Walk, no call, but it's going to be taken away by Joseph, who gets the steal. Hands to Hall, and here comes the Lady Eagles. Right side, Brett Clay. Clay into the corner. It is Cunningham. Cunningham holds it above her 6-foot frame. She goes to Joseph. Joseph over Boatwright, no good. Ball's loose. Cunningham's going to tie up Boatwright, and that'll be a jump ball that goes to Carlsbad.
Already Boatwright with 2 defensive glass maneuvers there, getting him off the boards quickly, and we can't wait till she has it in her arms and then try to reach and grab it from her. It's going to be too late with the foul call.
Here comes the inbound against the man-to-man press. It's Dugan. She's coming up against Hargrove across the timeline with the left hand. Abby Dugan backs it out. Hargrove moves up on her. Right side, Alexa Dugan. Dugan with Clay. Clay is going to give her a lot of heat there. Dugan's going to throw a wild shot up off the glass, and Joseph comes down with the rebound. Here's Hargrove quickly up the court. She looks ahead to Cunningham. Cunningham's beat him down the court. Right-handed layup, no good. And it's going to be tied up again underneath as Cunningham ties up Boatwright, or check that. That's Dugan. And that'll be Lady Eagles basketball.
Yeah, Duggan got the ball first, but a good job for Carpenter to get, or Cunningham to get on top of the basketball there. And we're not getting to the shots to drop so far, not the touch we'd like to see early on.
Inbound comes to Joseph. Fade away from 6. Got it. Lady Eagles up 2-0 here early.
See my advice? You should put one through the hole finally, Coach.
There you go. Yeah, do that every time. Here's the inbounds, already trapped in the corners. Duggan, she's going to have it to the right side. And she's going to walk with it right there. And the coach is trying to call a timeout to save her, but she already moved her feet. This one's going out of bounds.
Second turnover for Carlsbad. As you mentioned, Coach Inlow had the 30-second showing for his time out there on the baseline. That tells you got a smart coach. He almost saved his kid from having that turnover.
Yeah, he tried, for sure. Inbound's going to be loose, stolen away, and off to the races, Alexa Dugan. Cunningham's chasing her, gets her hand up, but Dugan puts it in off the glass with the right hand.
Cunningham better be careful. Got very close to making a foul. That could have been a three-point play.
Here's Hargrove setting up the offense against the zone. Top of the key, Cunningham. They swing it to Joseph. Joseph looks back door, not there. Hargrove gets a pick from Joseph, and Hargrove's going to drive with the right-hand floater at the free throw line. Hargrove from about 12 has got it.
Miscommunication on the zone. A couple of players didn't know where they were supposed to be, kind of looking around, scattered on that play.
Wild inbounds throw, stolen away by Clay at half court. Goes to Hargrove. Hargrove to Cunningham. Cunningham in the post. She's going to step out and hand to Clay. And Clay can't handle that pass. It's going to go off her leg and out of bounds.
Coach, turnover count now 3-1. Carlsbad having some issues at getting the passes where they want them to go down court, and they don't want to get rattled from the Hobbs Lady Eagles putting some pressure on now.
Here's Sepulveda to inbounds. She's going to go to Dugan. Dugan's going to work against Hargrove. Dugan's got her right hand across the timeline. Crisscross, she spins around. Hargrove's got her hand right in the dribble zone. Dugan's having trouble. Right side is going to go to Boatwright. Boatwright with Joseph on her. Boatwright goes around Joseph, has it blocked underneath. It's loose. Picked up by Strada. She's going to shoot at the free throw line off the glass. No good. From dead away, here comes Hargrove. Now the rebound by Joseph there. Hargrove with the right hand comes across the timeline. Flips to Cunningham. She's going to spin off the glass with the right hand. No good. It's loose. Cunningham comes down with it. Goes back up. No good again. Goes up again. No call. Goes up a third time. No call. Got about 3 rebounds in there. Now it's on the floor. And they're going to get a timeout call before the jump ball. And looks like we're going to have a break on the floor as Coach Inlow does exactly what you said, saved his player.
Yeah, he's working on those thumbs on his top of his shoulders there. I guess he's been practicing that all week, but that time he did save his squad, but there was bodies already on top of the basketball.
There you go. 4-2 your score here early. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Listen to Hobbs Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
30, please. How's the internet audio?
Good. $15. Five, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, welcome back to Tasker Arena. 4-2 your score. Lady Eagles up here in the first period. 4:12 on the clock. Carlsbad to inbound underneath their own basket. It's going to come into Dugan. Dugan with the right hand spins around, and Hargrove has to run her down. And she stops and goes, gets away from Hargrove for a second. They go into the corner. It's Boatwright. Boatwright with 2 dribbles. She's looking for help. She's in trouble. Finally hands it to Alexa Dugan. Dugan checked by Clay. Having trouble. Goes left hand over to Sepulveda. She's going to drive. Kicks it out to Boatwright in the corner. Boatwright's going to get around Cunningham. Cunningham's going to grab her there. And that'll be a foul on Cunningham, her first. And here comes the sub.
Cunningham escaped 2 other foul calls earlier in this quarter, and that time there's no way you can avoid that one. Coming with the bear hug and stripping at the same time. I think she lost her balance a little bit on that baseline and just could not get the stop sign up.
Jayla David on the floor for the Lady Eagles, as well as number 5. That is Alyssa Bernal for Carlsbad.
Yeah, I'd like to see David on the court, the freshman, again, 12 points against Piedra Vista last week.
Bounce back door pass, Sepulveda. She's going to have it swatted away by Joseph. Joseph's going to hand over to Hall. Hall brings it across the timeline with the right hand. Right side, Hargrove. Hargrove stutter steps, looks for David. Actually has a backdoor pass to Joseph all by herself, and Joseph puts it in off the glass.
Joseph with 4 of the Lady Eagles, 6 points, up 6-2 now, 3:30 left first quarter.
Alexa Dugan straight up the court, being run down by Hargrove. Bernal from the corner, right hands it up. Ann's got her first shot of the night right there. Here comes Hargrove, Lady Eagles 6-4. They're going to call that a 2-point shot. Here's Joseph into the corner. It's Hall. Hall wants a long 3. It's going to be partially blocked off the rim. Clay's going to have the rebound. There's a fight for it. Scraps, and she touches the out of bounds. They're going to say Clay touched it out of bounds. Oh, no, I just flipped it. I was going to say she didn't even touch that ball there.
The Carlsbad girl had both her knees on the floor, hunched over the basketball, so she looked like she was still in bounds. I guess they maybe said it touched the line there.
Yep, substitutions coming in. Carolina Saez and Nakaya Mojica onto the floor as Hall and Hargrove will take a seat.
So technically that is a turnover. I mean, she had the ball and then kind of slid her knees up to that sideline, so I guess that is going to be going back to Lady Eagles.
Absolutely. Here's Mojica getting them started here with a 6-4 lead, 3 minutes on the clock in the first. Right side, it goes to Saez. Mojica looking for David. Is going to give David out there at the three-point line. Mojica with the left hand to Clay. Clay checked by Abby Dugan. Back to Mojica. Over the top to Joseph. Joseph spins the wheel. He's going to try to hand it to David, knocked away, and Dugan comes up with it. Hands it over to Alexa Dugan. She brings it across the timeline. Check that. That's Sepulveda out there. And Sepulveda's just going to throw it right into the stands. I think maybe she was looking for somebody on the far side, and Clay kind of got her hand on it there.
Yeah, good job of getting in the passing lane that time and challenging the pass right out of the hands of the guard heading to that right sideline.
Brett Clay is very disruptive, that's for sure. It's hard to get past her. Here's Dugan. She does get past her on the drive. Throws it up with the right hand off the glass. No good. Rebounded by Joseph. Joseph hands it to Clay. Here comes Clay across the timeline. Right side, Saez. Saez over the top looking for David. David was on the move, and that's going to be stolen away by Carlsbad.
Third time, Coach. 3 turnovers for Lady Eagles, 4 for Carlsbad.
Here's Dugan working against Saez with the left hand. Crossover. She's going to drive, kick it over into the corner. Sepulveda drives with the right hand, partially blocked, rebounded by Clay. Clay's going to have it knocked out of bounds by Carlsbad. That'll take away a fast break right there, but we'll get the ball back.
7-5 rebound count. Favor the Lady Eagles up by 2 at this point. 3 for Cunningham and 3 for Joseph. Boatright leads the Cavegirls with 2.
And we've had better looks than Carlsbad thus far. We're just not making them yet. Goes over the top to David. Another steal. Unable to hold on to the ball. Here comes Carlsbad. Bernal looks right side. She's got Dugan. She's going to throw a 3 up. Air ball. And that's going to be rebounded by Jayla David, who's going to bring it up with the right hand to Clay. Clay across the timeline, spins over, goes underneath, and she's going to toss it into the stands as she gets shoved out of bounds. This 3-man crew is letting them play.
Well, the 2 Carlsbad defenders kind of crunched her at the baseline, hip checked her, and she tried to pass coming around with the wraparound and lost control of the basketball, but she ended up on her butt right there on the baseline.
Yeah, they are being very physical out there, both teams. On the press, here's Alexa Dugan pushing off on Mojica. Mojica's giving her a hard time. Dugan across the timeline, uses her elbow again to create space. Spins around, goes back door, and that's going to be off of Carlsbad. Lady Eagles basketball.
Jayla, or actually that was putting her hand in the lane there. Nia Joseph kind of just ricocheted the ball off. I'm not sure. I guess Carlsbad must have got a piece of that one as well, but a good reaction. That was a peripheral vision defensive play there by the big post player.
Yeah, and Bernal had her back turned. It actually went off of Bernal's back. Here it goes, backdoor pass from Cunningham. They're going to flip it out. Here's Joseph. Joseph dribble, kicks it into the corner. Mojica, she's going to dribble drive. Right hands it from about 8. Got it. Nakaya Mojica puts it in with the right hand. 8-4 Lady Eagles. We've doubled them up so far.
Yeah, nice swish shot there. Good fade. Put the follow through and right through the hole.
Abby Dugan bringing it up against Carolina Saez. Saez is all over her. Dugan with the left hand. She's going to drive. Now she pulls back. Into the corner, Alexa Dugan. She throws up a wild 3 off the glass. Kendall Cunningham skies up with the right hand and snags it out of the air. Flips it over to Saez, coming across the timeline with the left hand. Saez crossover dribble, right side Mojica. Mojica looking for Joseph over the top. Not there. Now she goes to Joseph. Joseph's got one-on-one with both right. Joseph spins, fade away from 8 off the back of the iron. Cunningham's there on the backside for the cleanup and puts it in on the score.
Already 5 rebounds for Cunningham. That's her first bucket. We have 4 scores in the books for the Lady Eagles, 10-4.
Here's Dugan being checked by Mohican across the timeline. Dugan with a crossover dribble, flips it over, looking for Boatright. This is going to flip out of bounds. Actually, they're going to be saved right there. Sepulveda's there. She's going to jiggle step on Saez, gets away with it. And there's the first foul right there going to be called, second foul. That one's going to be called underneath, and I think this may go against Joseph.
That's Boatright's 3rd rebound, and she tried to get up big that time as they do get Nakia Mojica that time with the foul, the second on the Lady Eagles. And Boatright against Hobbs in terms of the free throws, 4 of 7 for 57% through 3 games in district and the tournament as she swishes her first.
Takes the score to 10-5 here. There's only 5 seconds left on the clock. Boatright takes her time, 4 dribbles, spins up to the right hand, pushes it up, and she's got the second one. 10-6 your score. Lady was trying to get a last-second shot here. Here's Saez across the timeline, flips it up with the right hand, no good. And there's actually a .1 left on the clock here. So Carlsbad actually gets the ball back, but not enough time to do anything but an alley-oop.
Yeah, .3 is what you need to have for an actual shot from the court. You have to have a tip-in basically at .1. They're just going to hold it in the backcourt.
There you go. 10-6 your score. We'll be back after these messages. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
1 minute, please.
$30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 10-6 your score. A 4-point lead here for the Lady Eagles as we go into the second quarter. And it's one of those games that we're looking at right now. It's a close game. It's back and forth. But, boy, they're letting them play. This has been very physical.
And up to this game, these two teams have actually tied in terms of points in the first quarter in 3 games, 33-33. But now, just a 4-point game, 10-6. Nobody really dominating in terms of points except for Nia Joseph, 4 points to lead both teams.
Top of the key, it goes to Boatwright. She's going to spin it around to Abby Dugan. She's going to be checked by Caroline Saez. Top of the key, one dribble there, closed out, and they're going to hand it back to Dugan. She's going to try to drive. That's actually Hargrove back on the floor. Check that. It comes right side to Boatwright. Boatwright spinning around, Joseph all over her. Boatwright has trouble. Finally, he's going to drop it away to Sepulveda. She's going to drive up and under off the glass, no good. Rebound by Dugan, and she's going to be fouled as she goes up. That was kind of a wild-looking shot she was taking there. It was just going to flutter, and she got smacked on the arm.
You just give them one step, though, to get the rebound. We noticed Carlsbad starting to kind of try to shoot underneath the arms of the defense, trying to get those foul calls, and it worked that time.
On the line she goes, pushes the first one up with the right hand, bounces around, and falls harmlessly to the floor.
Abby Dugan, in terms of free throw against the Lady Eagles this season, just 2 of 6 for 33%, so she definitely wants to improve on those numbers.
Second opportunity fires up, and she does hit that one. 10-7 your score, Lady Eagles by 3.
Hobbs out rebounding Carlsbad through the first quarter, 10-6.
Left side, it goes to Erilyn Hall and back to Hargrove. Hargrove to Joseph. Joseph working one-on-one, looking for some help, goes back door. It's Hargrove. Hargrove floats up, looks for Cunningham. It's stolen away by Joseph. She fires it up and in, and she's fouled. Anaya Joseph with about an 8-foot fadeaway and a slap on the arm. It falls, and she gets a free throw as well.
That's what benefits a player, getting off the floor, not just flat-footing it, going over top of people before they have a chance to respond, and taking care of business there. That was the first on Boatwright, and just the first foul on the Cavegirls.
12-7 your score. Free throws up and good. Her 7th point of the night. And it's now 13-7 Lady Eagles. Dugan all the way around. Left wing. It's going to come into Sepulveda in the block. She's going to hand it to Boatwright. Boatwright's going to lose it. It's on the floor. There's a scrum for it. Ball's still loose. Finally, Carlsbad comes away with it, but immediately tied up as Erilyn Hall goes in there and grabs it. And you can see Carlsbad's frustrated as Boatwright throws her hands up in disgust and just marches down the floor after that turnover.
Yeah, with that jump ball, the arrow going the other way. 6 turnovers for Carlsbad, just 4 for Hobbs at this point, and Carlsbad's got to take care of the basketball if they want to get back in this.
I think with her frustration, that's the person you go out. Here's the backdoor pass to Joseph. They're going right at Boatwright. Into Cunningham. Cunningham off the glass, no good. Saved underneath the basket into the hands of Sepulveda with the left hand. Here comes the trap. She goes over the top. Hargrove tries to steal it. It didn't happen. Here's Abby Dugan. Dugan goes up off the glass, no good. Rebounded by Alexa Dugan. Comes out into the corner. Sepulveda. Top of the key, stolen away by Hargrove. Hargrove has to throw it off of Dugan. Looks like she does, but I guess she may have stepped on the line there. We were unable to see from our vantage point for sure.
Yeah, she tried to chuck it at the Carlsbad Cave Girl there in front of the Taskovich band on this near sideline, and looked like got a ricochet, but I think, like you said, she was already in the line. Abby Duggan would have been the one that knocked it out if they wouldn't have called that out first.
Sure, and the 6th man didn't protest, so I think he made the right call. Here's Boatwright. Joseph already all over her. Alexa Dugan being checked by Clay. Right hands it, stolen away by Hargrove from behind as she spins. Hargrove has it. One dribble, looks back door, goes up over the top, and they're going to get her for a charge as she gets into Alexa Dugan.
That'll count as a 6th Lady Eagle turnover, and Hargrove will pick up her first 13 foul on Hobbs. And you got to take advantage when you get those opportunities. Work so hard on the defense, and unfortunately end up giving a foul back the other way.
Yeah, and it's a 4-to-1 foul ratio right now in this game. I guess Carlsbad doesn't foul.
Hobbs has their biggest lead, though, at 6 at this point with 6:07 left, second quarter.
Abby Dugan being checked by Hargrove. Dugan comes up to the half-court line, crosses with the right hand. Backs it out, looking for help, goes right side to Alexa Dugan. Pump fake from her, she goes to Sepulveda. Sepulveda checked by Hall. Sepulveda's going to back it out, Hall's closing her. Right side, it goes to on the wing to Abby Dugan. Dugan's going to go around Hargrove, she takes a short 8-foot jumper, and has got it. That cuts the lead 13-9.
That's her third point of the ball game. She leads the team in scoring now by 1.
Hall right side. They're going to flip it into the corner. Here's Joseph, spins right around Boatwright, and then she decides she doesn't want the layup. She tries to kick it out to the guard on the wing, and there wasn't one standing there.
Well, Coach, you know who she saw? She saw the referee on that far sideline and thought it was a white jersey, and that's where she tanked it towards the scores table, and then she realized that she let go. Whoop, that's a zebra.
Yep, 13-9 your score. Carlsbad with the basketball here. They're hanging tight in the second quarter, 5:25 left. Into the corner, here's Boatwright. She's being checked by Hargrove. It goes top of the key, Alexa Dugan. Dugan working against Clay. Clay pops it out of there, trying to get a steal. Dugan's going to spin around. She's going into the corner looking for Sepulveda. Sepulveda pump fake. Nothing there. Hall on her. Top of the key, Boatwright. Boatwright spinning around in trouble. Joseph's got her all over her. Joseph playing great defense here. Comes to Sepulveda. Here's Dugan. Long three off the iron. Rebounded by Carlsbad. Sepulveda's going to go to Boatwright. Boatwright floats one up off the glass. No good. Ball's loose. Hargrove comes down with it. Hargrove off to the races. Here they go in transition. Hargrove across the timeline with the right hand. It's going to go backdoor to Jayla David. She's going to scoop it to Hall. Hall's been quiet, only taking one shot so far this game. Right side, Clay. Clay back to Hargrove. Hargrove directing traffic. She's going to try to go to David. Has knocked away as Dugan gets a little bit of her paw on it as the pass goes in there. And that's going to be Carlsbad with getting the steal.
That's 8 turnovers for both teams. Not the prettiest game here in this first half.
Left wing. It's going to go into the corner. That's Boatwright. Boatwright didn't do anything with it. Joseph quickly shut her down. Here's a long shot from Estrada, and it's going to be a rebound by Erilyn Hall, who comes out of the guard position to snag that. Hall right side, Clay. Clay looking for help. She's going to start to drive, then she pulls back. Goes to Hall, top of the key. They go to David. David pump fakes, has it knocked away, out of bounds. That'll be Lady Eagles basketball.
David has the right idea that time, but she was too straight up at that point. Didn't get her shoulder down and make a hard drive to the rack, and she saw the defender just kind of slice out and knock the ball out. Really, both teams are having some trouble finding people open at this point in time, and Carlsbad having a lot worse trouble at the other end because Hobbs' defense has been so much pressure filled up on top of that perimeter.
Here's the inbound. It's going to go to Cunningham. Cunningham hands to Clay. Clay shut down. She has to back out. Clay with the right hand. She's got a timer going here. Clay's going to drive. She scoops with the left hand off the glass. Brett Clay with a drive and a touch.
That's the 5th score for the Lady Eagles, now up by 6, matching their biggest lead, 15-9 here with 3:35 left, second quarter.
Here comes the press. Dugan across the timeline with the left hand checked by Hargrove. Dugan looks left side. She's got Bernal. Bernal looks top of the key. It's going to go backdoor left side, back to Abby Dugan. Dugan top of the key. Here's Bernal. Bernal loses it and is going to be thrown out of bounds. That'll be Lady Eagles basketball. Another turnover on Carlsbad.
That's an unforced error. We don't usually call that the stat in basketball, but we've seen that a few times at both ends, and now Coach Inlow wants to talk to his squad about taking care of it on the offensive side.
Timeout on the floor. 15-9 your score. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
1 minute, please.
Thirty. 15, 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 15-9 your score. 3:16 on the clock here in the seconds. Lady Eagles had the lead here, but it's been kind of a back-and-forth game and can't quite get ahead. Carlsbad just kind of hanging in there.
Yeah, the Hobbs offense is trying to get themselves on track a little bit. They do have that 6-point lead, so can't say they're not doing anything out there. 12-10 rebound count for Hobbs as well. Just want to see some more inside shots go down for Hobbs.
Here's Clay getting things started. They're in a weave on the top. It hands to Mojica. Mojica goes to David. David looking for Cunningham. David's going to drive short, 12-footer off the front of the iron. It's going to be controlled by Carlsbad. Here they come. Across the timeline left side, that's Sepulveda. Sepulveda working against Jayla David. Top of the key, Abby Dugan. Mojica on her. Dugan with the left hand. Tries to come back to the right. Mojica's not letting her go right. Every time Dugan tries to go there, there's Mojica. She's going to go left and drive. She's going to throw one up with the right hand off the glass. No good. Boatwright tries to sky for the rebound. Mojica has it, but she can't quite come down with it. Goes off of her hands out of bounds.
That's the ninth Lady Eagle turnover. She tried to grip it the best she could. She did have control momentarily. Unfortunately, a turnover on that one, but she's been very physical for a guard, doing some rebounding and going to the rack with it, too.
Into the corner, then swinging around top of the key, Alexa Dugan. Dugan to Sepulveda. Sepulveda in traffic, goes up and under off the glass, no good. Here's David. David hands to Mojica, and the Lady Eagles are off and running. Mojica across the timeline, walk, no call. Right side, Brett Clay. Goes to David. David with the dribble. She goes into the corner, hands to Mojica. Now she drives the left hand, bounces back past to David, no good. Cunningham goes over the back, skies for one, gets the rebound and misses. Here's Brett Clay, rips one out of the hands of a Carlsbad player. Clay in trouble, goes to David. David tries to throw one up. They're going to call that a block. Crowd doesn't like that one at all.
Well, Cunningham got away with a major over-the-back rebounding foul, so I think we're kind of even on that. And a no call on both sides that time.
Yeah, this crew is calling it about as loose as I've ever seen. Here's Boatwright. Boatwright has it stolen away by David, but goes into the hands of Dugan, and she's going to hit a three out there from the right wing.
That's the first tray of the ball game for either team. She leads Carlsbad with 6 points and just one behind Joseph, who has 7 for Hobbs. 15-12, Lady Eagles by 3.
Here's Clay. Clay's going to have it ripped by Alexa Dugan. Up the court, Alexa Dugan with the right hand off the glass. She lays it in, and we've got a 1-point ball game here, folks.
10 Hobbs Eagle turnovers. You cannot have that. This is a quarterfinal matchup. Some team's going to be going to semis on Thursday.
Over the top, here it comes to Cunningham. Cunningham into the lane, spins, goes up and under, right hand's off the glass, no good, it's loose. Carlsbad with the rebound, here's Abby Dugan. Dugan, crisscross over the far side, it goes to Sepulveda. Sepulveda in the corner, Alexa Dugan fakes the pump but doesn't bring it out. She ends up sending it to the near side to Abby Dugan, back to Alexa Dugan. They're playing catch, now into the corner. Dugan from 12, no good. Rebounded by Saez. Saez pushing the ball up the court. Saez with the right hand into the corner. Here's Brett Clay. Clay back to Saez. It goes to Cunningham. Cunningham, and they're going to call her for a walk. She switched pivot feet underneath there.
Coach, you kind of had a lull here with Noah Nia Joseph, and now all of a sudden I look up and there she is at the scores table, so I guess that got my head thinking a little bit. But I think that's going to add another dimension that we haven't seen. Coach trying to get some other connections in there. Of course, it's the playoffs. Everybody's got to be contributing.
Inbound comes to Alexa Dugan, checked by Mojica, still in the backcourt. Left-handed across the timeline. She's going to drive. It's going to be stolen away by Mojica from behind and into the hands of Clay. Clay across the timeline. Clay looking to drive. Clay goes back door, finds Cunningham with a nice pass. Cunningham puts it off the glass and scores.
Well, I love the ball control there of great dribbling by Brett Clay. Saw the open man down court and really did a good job of dishing it through.
Sepulveda across the timeline. She's going to drive into the lane, kicks it out. No, she fires one up higher than the backboard. That thing was like about 3 feet higher than the backboard, out of bounds.
She didn't realize she had 2 defenders on her that time, just kind of turned right into him. Hobbs by 3 with 5.2 left here in the second.
I think she intended to pass. Here comes to Saez. Saez gets another half-court shot at the buzzer, no good. And that'll end up ending the second quarter. Your score is 17-14 here as we go into halftime. We'll be back in 3 minutes. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles Basketball, Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
3 minutes, please.
2 minutes. One minute. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena. 17-14, your score here. Lady Eagles with a 3-point halftime lead against Carlsbad, a team that they've mostly dominated this season, except for one game in Carlsbad where they kept it close. So Carlsbad seems to have found a way to stay with us and fight with us. You don't want to keep them around. I think we learned when team fault comes around and can stay with you, bad things can happen. Fortunately, that happened to Eunice today. Eunice girls falling to Laguna Acoma 37-35 in a close game, and that's what happens when you let teams stick around.
Yeah, especially teams that are traveling long distances like Laguna Acoma, of course, a lower seeded team than what the Eunice Lady Cards were. But again, like you said, it's a game of moments here. You get to W, move on. If you don't, you're staying home. And that's what Hobbs is going to have to talk about in the locker room right now. Come out with reckless abandon. Don't be too overzealous on the defense. We are getting a lot more foul calls. We haven't had a lot of free throws in this game. 3 for 4 for Carlsbad and 1 for 1 for the Lady Eagles. So we haven't had a lot of opportunities, but in a tight game like this, free throws might matter in the second half. And by the way, I should mention, too, throughout the season, when you compare these two teams, the second half is where Hobbs has pretty much dominated with all the 3 games that they've played so far. First half, Hobbs outscored Carlsbad through 3 games, 61-56. But in the third and fourth quarters through 3 games, 91-44. So if any time is now to get on that gas accelerator, it's going to be right here with Coach Carpenter. And I think he's given a pretty enlightened speech at this point in the locker room.
Sure, and I think we need to do more to get fouled, too. I mean, Carlsbad hadn't committed but 1 foul this game. And the foul ratio is very stunning to me. I as physical as that game was, both teams being physical, but there wasn't more fouls called on both teams.
Carlsbad has had 4 scorers so far, led by Abby Duggan, 6 points, all 6 of those in the second quarter. She had a tray and 1 for 2 on the line with 3 rebounds. Alexa Duggan, her sister, 4 points in the game after 2 baskets. You drop down to 2 for Alyssa Bernal, and also Morgan Boatwright with 2. She's just 2 for 2 on the line. No buckets for her as of yet. Free throw situation we mentioned, they are 3 of 4 from the line is Carlsbad. They've had some problems with turnovers, though. They've had 10 in the first half, although the Lady Eagles have had 11. So both teams had to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. 12 rebounds in the first half for Carlsbad, led by Morgan Boatwright's 4 and 3 for Abby Duggan. So those are the numbers. Nothing startling, nothing jumping off the page at you at this point, and this is one of those grind-out games.
Yeah, and it's funny how limited the number of names you used was. They only played 6 players in the first half, and that's what they try to do is only play 6. And that's who they trust. Whenever they've gone to 7, the couple of games I've seen that seventh player was not very comfortable on the floor. And I think that'll be a factor in the second half because we're pressing them, we're pushing them, they're playing at our pace. And at some point, they are going to get tired.
You have to give them credit, though, on that perimeter offense, although it's not really exciting and it kind of is lulling people to sleep. They're not just standing there throwing the ball back and forth. They're actually dribbling, moving around the perimeter, trying to get somebody open. Hobbs is playing such tough glue type of defense, it's hard to get passes to open people.
Yeah, and you know, that a lot of the possessions, they didn't go anywhere with that attack. I mean, yeah, they were trying to get possessions, they were trying to get attacks, they were doing things with it, but they weren't getting to the rim, weren't getting to the basket, and that's what happened in the previous games. When we hit the second half, all of a sudden, those passes started getting jumped, and they started making mistakes, and that's when you saw the big difference in the game. The game, if they kept it to 2 points, they were up 19 at the half.
Hobbs scoring in the first half. Anaya Joseph leading with 7 points, 3 rebounds as well. She's had a steal and a couple of blocked shots as well for the Lady Eagles' cause. Kendall Cunningham is the leading rebounder right now with 7 and also 4 points. She had a lot of point-blank shots in the paint. Some of them aren't dropping at this point, but hopefully those will start to drop here in the second half. Lots of girls with a bucket apiece. Brett Clay, Nakaya Mojica, and Bryn Hargrove all with 2. Brett with 2 rebounds. Mojica and Hargrove both getting 1 apiece. Hargrove also with the steal. So Hobbs with 5 scorers in the first half. Only had 1 free throw opportunity. Nia Joseph made a 3-point play, went 1 for 1. Lady Eagles have 1 more turnover than Carlsbad, 11-10. First quarter, Lady Eagles were up 10-6, and then the second quarter were outscored by Carlsbad 8-7. So that's why we got just a 3-point lead at the half. Hobbs out rebounding the Cavegirls 17-12, thanks to those 6 from Kendall Cunningham and 3 for Nia Joseph. So both coaches, I'm sure, are really adamant about the fact that this is the last 2 quarters of basketball for one of these teams, and you don't get the more points on the scoreboard. It's easy to say you're not going to be going anywhere else, and that means that Duke City's off the chart.
No, you won't, and I think both coaches are figuring it out. They're in that locker room trying to solve that riddle right now. And we'll find the answer to that riddle in about 2 minutes as we start the second half. We'll be back in 2 minutes with second half action between your Lady Eagles and the Cavegirls of Carlsbad on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
2 minutes, please.
One minute. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. Your score, 17-14. The Lady Eagles up on Carlsbad by 3 as both teams make their way back onto the hardwood.
Yeah, the Lady Eagles did not get any warm-up time. Coach Carpenter likes to keep them in the locker room. I guess having some discussion about what they need to do to get a W here, and up by 3, but I think we're going to see a little bit more energy in this second half.
Absolutely. Here's Sepulveda working against Hall. She crossed the timeline working left to right on your radio dial and TV screen. Hands it to Abby Dugan. Dugan checked by Hargrove. Hargrove not letting her go right. Dugan thinks about it. She's going left now and then kicks it out. She's got Alexa Dugan outside. Alexa Dugan with the right hand. She's going to drive. Tries to go up over Cunningham. Nothing doing. Joseph with the rebound. Joseph's going to throw it out, and Hargrove's going to have it. Almost stolen away there. Very loose pass. Left side Hall. Here comes Hargrove. Hargrove, the right hand, goes over the top looking for Joseph. Joseph fade away from 6. Got it with the right hand. That's the way to start the second half.
A little bit of a momentum of the ball going over the rim that time to keep it in the cylinder, and the Lady Eagles by 5.
And here's a denied pass on the inbounds by Hargrove. Knocks it out of bounds. It looks like we're going to bring more pressure on the press. Sepulveda, 1-4 press break. UCLA press break here. They go outside. Here's Alexa Dugan working against Brett Clay. Shake and bake. She tries to go over the back door. Abby Dugan into the corner. Long 3 off the iron. Rebounded there by Joseph. Skies up to the right hand. Here comes Hall. She's going to hand to Hargrove. Now we set it up. Hargrove, right side to Clay. They play catching back to Hargrove. Looking for the post. Almost stolen away by Alexa Dugan, who puts both hands on her. Near side Clay. Not even looking to shoot. She was wide open there. Here's Hargrove. Has it ripped at half court by Alexa Dugan. She's going to go up with the right hand coast to coast.
That's 12 turnovers for Hobbs. I think maybe that wrap that she's got on her left wrist might be bothering her just a little bit. Hobbs up by 3, 19-16.
Brett Clay, she's got an 8-footer on the drive. She's got it with the right hand, 21-16. Here comes the press. Carlsbad looking to inbound. They've already got the count on her. Trying to go over top, not there. They're going to Abby Dugan in the corner. Here's Hargrove. Dugan crosses with the left hand, comes across the timeline to Sepulveda, checked by Hall. Sepulveda, crossover dribble. She's going to lose it at half court. She's still picking up the dribble, now being passing over to Abby Dugan, right side. She's going to get it back. Sepulveda, Hall on her, comes around a screen. Joseph now guarding her. She's going to go up with the right hand off the glass. It's loose, knocked out of bounds. Lady Eagles basketball.
Referee almost took a spill on that right baseline. The ball came ramming toward his feet. He tried to jump over it and almost fell right on top of the basketball, went face first.
Yeah, that would not have been fun. 21-16, Lady Eagles getting started here. Second half in the third quarter is right hand from Clay. She's got another little 8-footer on the drive. 2 drives from Clay. That's 4 quick points here in the third. It's 23-16. And then Clay knocks one out of bounds.
Good aggressive pressure defense, as you mentioned earlier. Hobbs is really starting to come on tight here to make sure that there's not easy transition coming up the court. And a sub comes in. Mojica checks in for Erilyn Hall.
Mojica, defensive specialist out there. Here's the inbounds in the corner. Looking to go over the top. They do. And actually knocked away. It's Clay with a steal. Clay's been everywhere of his third quarter. Clay looking right side, goes to Mojica. Mojica, crisscross dribble, hands out to Clay. Starting the offense.
Coach
Clay.
Carpenter put up the stop sign to slow it up on that perimeter.
Here's Joseph in the corner. 1 dribble, 2 dribbles. She's going to kick it out. Mojica's going to drive. Mojica from 12. Got it. Mojica with a nice little jumper out there. We're starting to find the seams in the defense. Coach Enlow realizes it and calls a timeout. 25-16 your score. We'll take a break. 5:12 here in the third. Lady Eagles lead on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
Very clear.
1 minute, please.
$30. $50. $5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Task Arena. 25-16. 9-point lead for the Lady Eagles here. 5:12 in the third, tie.
8-2 run for Hobbs here in the third quarter, and the defense is what's doing it.
And Hargrove with another little smack of the ball out of bounds on the inbounds. Carlsbad has to do this again.
Coach Carpenter jumping up and down, doing some jumping jacks over there on the baseline of the backcourt. Wants his team to be very aggressive on all passes coming in. They're going to chuck it half court.
Stolen away by Hargrove. She's going to drive. Now she's going to spin it out. Hargrove wants a 3. She gets smashed, and that's going to be 3 free throws there, as it looks like Sepulveda gets into her, and she crashes to the ground.
That's her first. That'll just be the first team foul against Carlsbad. They only had one foul in the first half as well. And finally, we get some free throw opportunities. We had one free throw shot in the first half made by Anaya Joseph, and so definitely getting an opportunity here to get some more of those as Hargrove will step up. Versus Carlsbad this season from the charity stripe, Hargrove was 3 of 10, so she had some issues, 30%, misses that one there. And coming into this game for the season, Hargrove at the charity stripe at 62%.
Second opportunity here from Hargrove. 2 dribbles, fires with the right hand. She's got it.
That's her third point of the ball game. 9 for Joseph leading the team right now, and 4 for Kendall Cunningham yet to score in this third quarter. Abby Duggan has 6, but she hasn't scored in the third.
And she puts up the third one up and in. 11-point lead here. Here comes the press again. Carlsbad having trouble. Finally get into Abby Dugan. Dugan's going to be ran down at half court, almost stolen away by Mohica. A lot more aggression here from the Lady Eagles. Here's a flip-flop pass, goes far side to Alexa Dugan. She's going to drive, kick it to the corner. Here comes Sepulveda, air ball. Joseph with the rebound, off and running. Here comes Clay. Clay's got one ahead. She doesn't toss it to Cunningham. She's going to set it up for Hargrove. Right side Mohica. Mohica to Hargrove, top of the key. Comes around to pick from Clay. Hargrove over the top. Cunningham looks at the three, doesn't want it. Goes to Joseph. Joseph kicks it out. Hargrove from 12. Got it. Hargrove from dead on, just past the free throw line.
She's got 6 points. Lady Eagles' biggest lead now here in the third at 13, 29-16.
Here comes the double teams. Brett Clay is now on Sepulveda. She comes across right side. Sepulveda. Clay sneaking up on her. Is going to go to Abby Dugan. Dugan checked by Hargrove. They're forcing her left. Nobody wants Dugan to go to their right. She's going to kick it into the corner. Nothing there. Top of the key, Sepulveda. She holds above her 5'6" frame. Now she backs out. Here's Boatwright with Joseph there. Around a nice little screen comes Sepulveda, left side, Abby Dugan. Into the corner, Boatwright again. Has it stolen away. Joseph goes over the top. Joseph's going to spin it over to Hargrove, and here comes the offense. Hargrove with the right hand goes right side to Clay. Clay looking for that seam again on those drives. Hargrove shake and bait, comes near side of Mohica. Mohica almost has it stolen by Dugan. That's a foul, no call. Left side, Hargrove. She's going to pop for 3. In and out. Rebounded by Carlsbad. Boatwright's going to flip it over to Sepulveda. Here they come. 29-16 your score. It's a 13-point lead. 3:23 left in the third.
Boatwright leads with 5 rebounds for the Cavegirls.
Into the corner. They're going to cross-court pass into the far side to Estrada. Boatwright top of the key. Joseph on her. And they're just letting everybody reach. There's no calls on any of the reaches here. Across the top of the key, it goes to Boatwright. She's going to drive. Boatwright ends up getting mugged underneath. They're going to call that a block. I mean, the crews are consistent, if anything.
That's the 7th rebound for Cunningham, but she was aided by an air ball there.
Into the corner, Cunningham to Clay. Stolen away by Dugan from behind. Dugan's off to the races. She's on a foot race with Hargrove. Hargrove runs her down. Mohica knocks it out of bounds. That'll be Carlsbad basketball.
Yeah, Hargrove kind of applying a little forearm there that time, and the ball did squirt out just a bit. And Coach Carpenter going to go to his bench, bring in one of his freshmen, of course, Jayla David. I also see him some court time now. Another freshman, Carolina Sias. And that's one thing about the Lady Eagles program. They're not scared to put youngsters on the court.
No, they're not, and they play them pretty deep, too. Here's the inbounds. Dugan's going to go to Boatwright. Joseph's going to steal it from behind, but she can't quite save it before out of the bounds. Didn't quite have control of it, but good job getting her paw on that one.
29-16, Hobbs by 13 with 2:41 left here in the third quarter. Quarterfinal action on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube.
Here's the inbound. Right hand Dugan, they get started. Around a pick here, she's being checked by Sias. Now she's double teamed. Flips it over to Alexa Dugan, who's going to drive into the corner. Bernal, no 3 here this time for her. Bernal picks it up, goes to Abby Dugan. Mohica on her. Abby wants to throw up a 3, and she's got it. Wow, where's that been?
Dugan now with 9 points. That's her second tray of the ball game. In fact, that's the only 2 trays that either team has made in this ball game at this point.
Here's Mohica working left side on the wing. Bounce pass to Joseph. Joseph looks back door. It's not there, but she's going to drive. In trouble. Fires from 8. That's not trouble for her. She makes it there on a fadeaway.
11 points for Joseph, leading both teams, along with 6 rebounds, a couple of steals, and 2 block shots.
Here comes Dugan up the court. Dugan's going to be checked by Clay. Into the corner, Bernal. Stutter step. She's going to throw up a wild scoop, and that thing's going to fall. Oh, my, and a foul.
Her second basket, 4 points, and she kind of fumbled around a little bit with her legs that time, leaned into the defenders, and kind of did a little shuffle with the arm there to try to get the foul call, and she got it from the official on that one.
Yeah, and she threw that up into the heavens, and that prayer was answered.
Jayla David picks up her first, just the first foul on the Lady Eagles here in the second half, so we've only had a total in this game of 6 fouls.
Bernal's free throw up and good, cuts the lead back down to 9, 31-22.
She has 5 points now for the Cavegirls. 1:45 left, third quarter.
Mojica across the timeline. Dugan's going to get another strip at half court. Dugan up the court. Mojica runs her down. Dugan's going to make the layup with the right hand. That cuts it down to a 7-point lead, 31-24. Here's Mojica again. Right side, Caroline Saez back to Mojica. Mojica into the corner, Saez. They go to Joseph over the top. Boatwright smacks it out of bounds. But those are plays that would normally be called fouls.
Right now, scoring numbers in the third quarter. Hobbs has dumped in 14, but Carlsbad coming back now with 10 with about 1:21 left here in the third.
Here's the inbound into the corner. Here's Saez for 3 with the right hand. Good. Caroline Saez, the freshman.
That's the first try of the game for the Lady Eagles.
34-24, 10-point lead. Dugan trapped in the corner, tries to go over top, gets hammered out of bounds. And they're going to say Lady Eagles basketball. They're going to say she tossed it out of bounds.
Both teams now with 14 turnovers.
And Sepulveda had to tell Dugan to get away from the ref as Dugan started to talk a little bit. Joseph wants a 3 on the inbounds, no good. Ball's loose, and we knocked out of Brett Clay's hands, but that'll be Cave Girl basketball.
Hobbs up by as many as 13, but up by 10 now. So Carlsbad trying to whittle away at the lead, but the pressure's coming back for Hobbs.
Here's Joseph knocking one out on the inbounds. Another Carlsbad inbound coming in from underneath. 34-24, 1:02 left here in the third. Carlsbad to inbound, looking over the top. It's not there. They're going to go to Alexa Dugan. She's going to crisscross at half court, and she's going to cross over, dribble, and drive right side to Sepulveda. She takes a 3, no good. Jaws glass and nothing else. Hargrove looking for help, nothing there. Across the timeline, right side. Going to go over to David. David's going to spin, have it blocked from behind. Out of bounds, Lady Eagles basketball. And that crowd is really getting into this in some of these fouls.
There was a block from behind, and David kind of shoved her hands from her chest out to try to get the referee to call that one, and unfortunately for her, it didn't go down.
Over the top to David. She's going to take the jumper, misses at the iron, and Dugan gets the rebound, and that's going to be a tie up there as Dugan and David kind of both get hands on the ball.
So a lot of battling going on physically. Both these teams know this could be their last game of the season.
Inbound comes to Joseph. Joseph has it underneath. Fade away, no good. Ball's loose. Carlsbad controls. Here comes Bernal. Bernal across the timeline, plays on her. Bernal spins, top of the key, Dugan. To Abby Dugan. Abby with the right hand being checked by Joseph. Check that was David. Here's a drive here from Boatwright. Boatwright's going to kick it out. Alexa Dugan for 3. Off the back of the iron, rebounded by Hargrove. Hargrove's off and running. She sees a cutting Caroline Saez. Saez with the right hand off the glass. Little snowbird there by Saez.
2 critical rebounds for the guard Hargrove with the defensive end and cutting down to Carolina Saez. 5 points for her coming off the bench. Both of those girls helping out the cause to a 12-point lead.
36-24 your score. We'll be back in 1 minute. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5.
You're clear.
1 minute, please.
Thirty. Five. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back. 36-24 your score. Lady Eagles have a 12-point lead as we enter the fourth quarter, Ty. And just like that, looks like the poison is finally set. The press is working. We're getting the rebounds. Scoring's come up.
Yeah, very important double-digit lead, that 12 points at this point. Good insurance for you. For Carlsbad, Abby Duggan leading with 9 points and 4 rebounds. Alexa Duggan with 8, so those two combining for 17. Lady Eagles have 11 from Nia Joseph and 6 rebounds, 6 apiece for Clay and Hargrove.
Dugan gets the ball in the inbound. She drives all the way to the rim, misses off the iron. It's controlled by Clay. Clay across the timeline. Right side, Hargrove. Nice three-point look out there, but she throws up an air ball. That's going to be rebounded by Dugan. Dugan right side. Going to be into the corner. Alexa Dugan. Flip-flop over to Boatwright. She's going to take a 14-footer. Tries to bank it in dead on. It doesn't happen. Ball's out of bounds. They're going to call a foul on this one as both players crash to the floor. Finally get another foul call.
Yeah, Alyssa Bernal was kind of on her stomach sliding across the baseline there, trying to get a grip on it. Maybe we got a sandwich look there from the Lady Eagles on top against Jayla David, her second team foul. Hobbs out rebounding Carlsbad right now, 24-16 here in the fourth.
Here's the inbounds, long three-pointer from the wing off the iron. And Hargrove has the rebound, but she can't quite hold on to it. Thrown up off the glass, that's Sepulveda. And that cuts the lead down to 10. It's 36-26.
That's her first bucket of the ball game and third rebound.
Across the timelines goes to David. Right side, Clay. She's going to drive. Clay off the iron, no good. Into the corner, Hargrove. She's got a three and drains it. Check that. They're going to call it 2. It was close. Over the top, long baseball pass. Dugan off to the races. And she's going to be chased down by Clay, but she still makes the layup on the fly there. And a quick turnaround there for the Carlsbad Cavegirls.
Duggan now in double digits with 10. And, of course, Hargrove doing a good job shooting from the outside. She's got 8 for Hobbs.
David the Joseph. Joseph in the lane from 12, no good. That's going to be rebounded by Sepulveda. She's off to the races. Across the timeline, Sepulveda, she looks like she wants to drive. Nothing there. Top of the key, here comes Dugan. Dugan fires, and she's got it. And Carlsbad still fighting here.
Wide open that time, top of the arc. That's a tray. 13 now for Alexa Dugan. Can't give her that much wide open space.
38-31, 6:23 on the clock. Here comes David. David gets bumped and then hit, and now she's grabbed. And they're going to say that's a jump ball. It's going to go to the Lady Eagles, but my gosh, how much contact are we allowed to have?
2 fouls for Hobbs, 1 for Carlsbad. We've had a total of 7 fouls called in this ball game, 4 in the first half and 3 here in the second half. We got 6:17 left here in the fourth. Hobbs by 7.
Here's Hargrove to inbounds. Up by 7. Looking for Joseph, not there. She's going to give it to Clay, get it back. She's going to fade back out to the three-point line. Now she backs it out to start the offense. Left side, starts to run a weave. She's got Sias. Sias looks for a bounce pass. It goes into Cunningham's hands, and that's another tie-up. That'll be another jump ball.
That'll be an arrow for Carlsbad, which is a turnover for the Eagles. That's their 15th turnover. Carlsbad not much better with 14. Not a very clean game in terms of taking care of the basketball, but somebody's going to come out here with the win and move on to the semis on Thursday.
And they're going to face the winner of La Cueva and Organ Mountain. They got a close one there. It was 46-43 last I checked. La Cueva over Organ Mountain, a team that we crushed early in the season. And here's a trap in the corner. Carlsbad trying to get it out of there. Coach is going to call a timeout and a full one. We'll take a break here as well. Lady Eagles up by 7, 5:57 on the clock. You're listening to Lady Eagles basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
Clear.
1 minute.
Thirty. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker. 38-31 your score. 5:57 here left in this one. And it's a lot closer than the Lady Eagles want, but still has a 7-point lead.
Actually, Carlsbad's gone on a 7-2 run in this fourth quarter, so Hobbs going to get back in business here. Not a lot of free throws for either one of the teams. Hobbs 3 for 4, and Carlsbad 4 for 5.
Quick steal there, but then stolen back. Falling out of bounds. It's going to be saved by Sepulveda. Here's Boatwright. The fan said that she was out of bounds, but the referee didn't agree. Here, across the timeline, here comes Dugan. Now we're starting to call fouls. We're going to call that one on Hargrove, but not sure what was different there than all the other grabs everybody's been doing the entire game.
Second on Hargrove, third team foul against the Lady Eagles, and it'll be Carlsbad basketball on the right base underneath the hoop.
Around the horn it comes. Here's Dugan, right side. They've got Strada. She throws up a three, no good. Hall with the rebound. We hadn't seen her in a while. Hall with the right hand coming up the court, goes right side Hargrove. She's going to drive, floats, fires off the glass, and got it. Wow. Hargrove on the run. Nice little play there. It's 40-31.
She's had 2 buckets here in the fourth and now has 10 points, double digits, 2 in doubles now with Joseph's 11.
Abby Dugan across the timeline, right side to Strada. Strada to Bernal. Bernal looking for the cutter. It's not there. She's going to drive. Scoops up with the right hand. No good. Rebounded by Hargrove. In and out of the hands of Hargrove. And Carlsbad knocked it out of her hands, but they're going to say we touched it last.
I'll tell you what, Coach. Hargrove has had about 4 rebounds in the last few minutes here, battling with even our big girls that time. Went over the back of Nia Joseph to pull that one down. Unfortunately, Joseph buttered at her, and the ball came squirting out.
Yeah. 40-31, your score. Lady Eagles up 9. Here's a backdoor inbounds to Sepulveda off the glass. No good. And everybody goes up. They're going to give it back to Carlsbad.
Got to give Hobbs credit, though. They are challenging the rebounds. Cunningham battling hard. Joseph was in there also trying to punch that ball away from the blue.
Carlsbad to inbounds here. Trying to go over the top. They're looking for Boatwright. It's not there. It's going to go right side. There's Sepulveda. Sepulveda checked by Hall. Sepulveda backs it out. Right hands it. Actually almost stolen away there. She's going to end up going to Dugan outside Alexa Dugan. She's going to drive, nothing doing. She's spinning around. Now she's going to drive with her left hand. Backdoor pass to Boatwright, who misses. Ball's loose. Going to be stolen away Hargrove. Hargrove spins around as Bernal tries to grab it from behind. Hargrove keeps it and finally calmly comes across the timeline. Hargrove, right side Clay. Cloud's starting to really get into this now. Top of the key, Cunningham. Comes to Joseph. Joseph. Bounce pass to Clay. Right side, Hargrove. She directs traffic. Here's Clay. Clay wants a long shot. Air ball, but there's Joseph. She misses the layup. Spins around, it's loose. Here's Dugan. Dugan on the run. Here comes Joseph in tow. And Joseph's going to throw it into the bench. The crowd's on its feet. And Nia Joseph with another block.
That's her third block shot of the ball game. They've all been right on top of the leather. Had a couple of steals as well. Hobbs up by 9, 40-31 with 4:05 left, fourth quarter. And Coach is trying to get the sub in here, but they're going to give it off to Carlsbad before he can get her in, Mojica.
Here's Dugan, pushes off, no call. Now she's trapped. Top of the key, it's going to go to Bernal. Bernal shake and bake. Bernal backs it out. It's going to hand to Alexa Dugan. Alexa Dugan's going to drive. Hands it up top of the key. It's Boatwright. Boatwright has it stolen away. They're going to run it down at half court. Now she's trapped. Spins around. Here's Sepulveda, and she's going to be knocked to the floor. And that one's pretty obvious right there. They had to call that.
Should be on Hargrove, her third personal. That will be the 14th foul against the Lady Eagles, so not a lot of harm done there.
3:44 on the clock. Lady Eagles up 40-31. That's a 9-point lead. Carlsbad scrapping and fighting, trying to stay in this one. Here comes the inbound.
Still waiting for the referees to get this thing moving around now. Finally, everybody gets matched up in the paint. It's a 4 in every point of the paint at this point for Carlsbad. They want on both blocks and the free throw lines.
Sepulveda gets them started top of the key. Offense starts to get rolling. Mojica's on her. Goes right side to Abby Dugan. Dugan with the right hand. Checked by Hall. Into the corner, Boatwright. She's closed out by Joseph. Boatwright into the corner. She usually gets trapped there, almost does. Hands to Bernal. Bernal switches pivot feet. That's a turnover. And you can see the frustration. Alexa Dugan over there burying her head in her hands. They're so frustrated with these turnovers because that was a big possession right there.
32 total turnovers combined for these two teams, 16 apiece at this point, so that's an even stat, but Hobbs up by 9 on the scoreboard, 3:20 left.
Right side, Brett Clay. Clay shake and bake. Crossover dribble, picks it up. She's in trouble. Looks for Cunningham, poked away. Here's Dugan. Dugan's holding off Mojica with their left arm, sitting out there riding her. And it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Mojica.
So Carlsbad needs to get some scoring done pretty quickly. The clock is not their ally at this point, down by 9. Unless they can start stroking the threes, Of course, Abby Dugan has already had 2 of those herself. The only one to score those for Carlsbad.
Outside right side, it goes to that Abby Dugan. She's going to pick up a dribble. Hall's all over her. Dugan's going to fly up and is going to get fouled as she kind of scoops up a wild shot. And that'll put her at the line to shoot 2, and the foul goes against Darylyn Hall.
That's her first 15th foul. There was actually another 3-point shot for Carlsbad, Alexa Dugan, her sister. So they've combined for 4 of all 3 of the Cave Girl trays at this point. Hobbs has converted only 1. That was Carolina Sias.
Abby Dugan's free throw, no good there on the first attempt. She gets 1 more.
That was the first free throw attempt of the second half for Carlsbad. They are 4 of 6 from the line. Hobbs has not yet shot a free throw in the second half. They're 3 for 4.
Second opportunity up, and she's got it. It's 40-32.
Duggan now with 10 points. 13 for Alexa Duggan, 10 for Abby Duggan.
2:55 on the clock, and here comes Hargrove slowly across the timeline getting things started. Comes left side after getting a screen from Joseph. Hargrove's got it back. Dugan tries to reach, no steal there. She's going to flip it back door to Cunningham. Back out to Hargrove. Hargrove for 3. Hargrove drains it. The sharpshooter from the outside.
She's got half of her 12 points here in the fourth quarter. Excellent shooting from the outside for her.
Dugan being chased by Clay. Comes across the timeline. It's loose. Dugan's going to toss it near side. Alexa Bernal. She's going to go under to Boatwright. Boatwright's going to have it stripped away. And it actually blocked by Kendall Cunningham at the end. One of them got called for a foul. That could be Hargrove or Clay. It's going against Hargrove. That's her 4th.
16 foul against the Lady Eagles. Hobbs up by 11, 43-32 with 2:22 remaining. And Hobbs just 1 bucket away from having a tie of their highest lead of the game at 13.
Dugan at the line. Check that. That's Boatwright at the line. She pushes up. Right hands it in.
She's perfect, 3 for 3 and 3 points now, and really well below her season average in terms of point production. And Hobbs just going to kind of hold on to get this win. Might not be a pretty one, but any way you can get to the semifinals is important.
Second opportunity is good as well. It's now a 9-point Lady Eagle lead. Here's the inbound to Clay. Now Carlsbad's pressing. Clay, crossover dribble, looking for help, goes over the top. She's got Joseph, got to get across the timeline, and they do. Joseph to Cunningham. Cunningham one-on-one with Boatwright. Boatwright's going to pop it out of bounds, blocked by Boatwright. Lady Eagles basketball.
Still a 9-point lead, 43-34. Hobbs ball in the left base.
Here's the inbounds to Cunningham. She pump fakes. She's going to drive. Cunningham from 8 off the glass, rolls around, toilet bowl, and it flushes home.
6 points for Kendall Cunningham along with 7 rebounds.
45-34. Lady Eagles with the lead. Here comes Bernal. Bernal across the timeline. Mojica on her. Hands it over to Sepulveda. She's going to drive. Backdoor pass. She's got Boatwright off the glass. No good. It's loose. Joseph skies up and jumps over all the hands to get it. Foul on the floor. This one's going against Carlsbad. Only their 2nd foul here in the second half, and I think the 3rd or 4th of the game, and hadn't fouled much for sure.
Yep, that is their 3rd team foul of the game. As you mentioned, 2 in this half as they charge that one to Sepulveda, her 2nd. Should mention, Anaya Joseph is trying to claw her way into another double-double, 11 points, and with that rebound is number 8, so 2 more, and we got one for her.
And we'll be back as a timeout on the floor. Coach Carpenter wants to discuss things. We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagle Basketball on Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
30 seconds, please.
$15. 5, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena. 45-34, your score, 11-point lead for the Lady Eagles against the rival Carlsbad Cavegirls. And Ty, we're looking at a game that's close but not close at the same time, but time's starting to run out on these Cavegirls. Lady Eagles with a big lead here.
And we've had some history with Carlsbad in the state playoffs besides district. Back in 2019, Lady Eagles defeated Carlsbad in the semifinals by 1 point after a steal at half court. I thought the game was over at that point, but they came back and won 42-41. They ended up being 2nd in the state that year, Hobbs was. And back in 2020, Lady Eagles beat Carlsbad in the 2nd round by 11, just like almost it is right now, 45-34.
Here's Joseph to Mojica. Mojica working against the attacking press there. She's going to throw it over the top to Clay. Clay has to run it down in the corner. Back to Mojica. Mojica crisscross pass over the side to Hargrove. Carlsbad's going to have to do something here. 1:26 on the clock. Hargrove's going to drive. Backdoor pass to Clay, knocked out of bounds. Lady Eagles basketball. And I believe that's Mojica. No, it's Clay kind of shaking up on the play.
Yeah, she got kind of sandwiched there on that block and was trying to get through two blue defenders at dribble and lost the ball, but luckily was hit off of the blue team first.
Inbound stolen away by Carlsbad. Dugan on the run. Right-handed layup off the glass, no good. And finally rebounded by Joseph. She's going to go ahead to Clay. Clay 3-on-1. Clay loses it. It's on the floor. She's going to push it to Cunningham in the corner. Cunningham up top to Hargrove, and now they can back it out. Hargrove under pressure.
1 minute left.
Hargrove with the right hand. It's going to go over to Mojica. Mojica backs it out to the H. Here comes Dugan. She pushes forward, trying to get a steal. Nothing there. Mojica backdoor pass stolen away by Carlsbad. It's into the hands of Abby Dugan. 46 on the clock. Abby Dugan across the timeline there. Going to have to take threes now. Abby Dugan's going to drive. She gets an easy layup. No good. Cunningham with the rebound. And they're going to foul Cunningham, but no call. It was an intentional foul, and they didn't call it. It goes to Hargrove, who gets fouled. And, my gosh, that was a crazy play there. See the frustration from some of the fans.
They got a lot more fouls to burn, though, so that will keep the clock stopped at least as they charge that one to Mariana Sepulveda. That's her second and the third team foul against the Cavegirls. Hobbs up by 11. It looks like Coach Inlaw wants to talk to his team. Let's just keep it right here. Coach, 11-point lead. The Lady Eagles are probably not the most excited about how this game has transpired, but still a double-digit W, looks like.
It is. And, you know, Carlsbad at this point, they have to foul to get the ball back and put us at the free throw line, but because they were only called for 3 fouls most of the game, they can't get there. You know, it's kind of funny that it's a double-edged sword that they got such a blessing from the refs tonight as not being called fouls, and then ends up burning them in the end because they can't get the ball back. Crowd's already starting to make their ways to the doors, too. And I believe the students are probably doing a start the bus chant pretty soon.
Just kind of hoping that Anaya Joseph has a chance for one more rebound. She's one away from a double-double with 11 points and 9 boards. And very important to keep that streak alive. I mean, she came into the game again with a double-double average, 14.9 points a contest and 12.9 rebounds.
Here's the inbound. It's going to go to Hargrove. Hargrove with Dugan on her, shake and bake. Hargrove across the time. She's going to hand it over to Clay. They're going to try to foul her. They get the foul. Of course, it didn't put her on the line yet.
That's Boatwright throwing a hip at her that time. Her second 14 foul, so still 3 away from the bonus situation. Clock is just not going to be helping out Carlsbad, down by 11 at this point, though.
Here's the inbounds underneath. Over the top, it's going to go to Joseph, out of bounds. Lady Eagles basketball.
26 ticks left. Hobbs working on their 22nd win of the season. That's how many Carlsbad has already, but this could be their last game of the season.
Here comes to Hargrove. At this point, there's probably no purpose in fouling. There's 22 seconds on the clock. Hargrove to Joseph. There's a foul. Boatwright's going to smack her. And here we go. And, you know, in the end, it's going to look like it was a closely called game foul-wise because they're doing all these essential fouls at the end.
Coach Inlow has elected to put a sub in here late with 18 seconds remaining, as looks like one of the Duggans will be exiting. That's Alexa Duggan. She had a good game, too. 13 points. Had a tray in the fourth quarter as well.
And she's a senior, so that's kind of her last walk right there.
Inbound to the backcourt to run the clock to finish this game up. Brent Hargrove with 15 seconds.
Hargrove's into the corner. Clay, there's to start the bus, and another foul from Dugan.
Kind of an extended arm push that time. Really didn't need to put that much physicality into it. Still 1 away from the bonus, though. Both teams with 6 fouls here in the second half. Lady Eagles will have it deep in the left corner of the front court with 9.8 seconds and that cushion of 11-point lead.
And looking for the inbound here, Lady Eagles along the baseline, or far side rather. Over the top, Hargrove has to run it down in the backcourt. Nobody chases her, and she's got 10 seconds to get across, and nobody's coming. Hargrove taking her time, crossover dribble at the half court. Fans on their feet cheering. This one's over. Your final, 45-34. The Lady Eagles win. And on to round 3 and a trip to Albuquerque. We'll be back with the post-game show after these messages. You're listening to Hobbs Lady Eagles Basketball, Eagle 100.5 and YouTube.com.
You're clear.
3 minutes, please.
2 minutes. One minute. $30. $15. $5. 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to Tasker Arena, and a 45-34 win for the Lady Eagles over the Cavegirls of Carlsbad. Onward they go to the third round of the state playoffs up in Albuquerque. They will be facing La Cueva, as La Cueva has offed Oregon Mountain 61-51 in a game that was actually closer than that. It was at one point a 3-point game there in the fourth quarter, but La Cueva pulled away, kind of like the way we did there in the second half as well, Ty.
Yeah, that game will be Thursday morning, 11:30 at the pit. That's just the semis, and then, of course, the championships a day later on Friday, so not a lot of turnaround time. The problem was, talking to Coach Carpenter before the game, he's already got to make travel plans, even though he doesn't know for sure he's got to win here tonight. I mean, both Carlsbad and Coach Inlow and Coach Carpenter have to do that because they got to get up early. He's going to be practicing at NMAA tomorrow in Roswell as they move up towards the Duke City.
There you go. And that game Thursday is going to be, of course, with a nice big venue, a very different venue, one that the kids have seen before. We've been there, but much different shooting in a stadium like that.
Yeah, definitely. You don't have the walls behind the basket and things of that nature. You're going to have your benches will be on the sidelines instead of behind the baskets. That's something that kind of a bone of contention for teams that have to come in here. Let me look at the scoring here real quickly for both teams. 2 in double digits for Carlsbad. Alexa Duggan finished with 13 points. You mentioned earlier she is a senior. She did hit one tray in the ball game. Abby Duggan, her sister, who's just a freshman, and she's a taller player between the two, she finished with 10 points, and she was also 2 for 4 from the line for 50%, also had 5 rebounds. So the two sisters combined for 23 of the total points in this ball game in the loss to the Hobbs Lady Eagles, again 45-34. Other scorers, Alyssa Bernal had 5 points. She was 1 for 1 on the line with 2 rebounds. Morgan Boatwright, no buckets in this ball game, but 4 for 4 free throw shooting. She getting her 4 in the game. Mariana Sepulveda ended up with a bucket for 2 points and 4 rebounds. Should also mention Boatwright had 6 boards for Carlsbad. And that's pretty much it. That's it, yeah. 5 scores for Carlsbad in this game. They were 7 of 9 from the charity stripe, 77% in the losing cause. They only hit 3 3-pointers in the game. They had 20 rebounds, led by Boatwright with 6 and 5 for Abby Duggan. But they did have 16 turnovers, which is actually 3 less than the Lady Eagles, but still getting beat by 11 points.
And you seem surprised when you say only 5 scorers for them. They really only played 6 girls. They did add a 7th girl right at the end, and that was a senior who hadn't played the whole game. They just kind of stuck her in at the end to give her a minute's time in the last game of her career. But she didn't actually factor into the game at all. So they only had 6 players. That's the only reason only 5 scored.
Yeah, and Hobbs had 6 players score. Taking a look at their numbers, Brent Hargrove big-time shooting from the outside, especially in that second half. Ended up with 13 points. She did have a tray. Also was 2 for 3 from the charity stripe and 4 rebounds plus a couple of steals. So definitely a good game for her. She had that left wrap on her wrist, too. I was kind of wondering if that would hurt her at some point. Looked like she was kind of having an issue with it early, but definitely progressed and shot the ball well as the game went on. Anaya Joseph, unofficially 1 rebound away from a double-double. Maybe somebody can find one for her. 11 points and 9 rebounds. She was also perfect on the stripe, 1 for 1. In fact, she was the only one that shot a free throw through about 3 or so quarters in this ball game. Finally, we got somebody else stepping up to the line. Only one other person shot free throws in the game. That was Hargrove, who we already mentioned. Those are the 2 in double digits. Hargrove 13 and Joseph 11. They combined 24 of the 45 points in the game. Brett Clay was 6 points. She had 3 rebounds to the cause. Kendall Cunningham was 6 points and 8 boards, really helping out in the paint, pulling some of those off the glass. Carolina Sayas coming off the bench, all 5 of her points in the third quarter, including a tray and 1 rebound. Nakia Mojica had a couple of buckets for 4 points and a rebound as well. The Hobbs Lady Eagles finished with 6 players scoring, as we mentioned. A couple girls getting rebounds, but no points. Erilyn Hall had 2. Jayla David, the freshman, had 3 rebounds coming off the bench as well. Hobbs on the free throw line, like we said, only 2 people had a chance to shoot them in the game. They were 3 for 4 for 75%. Hobbs did out-rebound Carlsbad, which is a big factor in this game, by 11, 31-20. We mentioned 9 for Joseph and 8 for Kendall Cunningham to lead the squad. Hobbs only had 2 3-pointers in the game compared to 3 for Carlsbad, and 3 more turnovers, 19 compared to 16. Those numbers got to get cleaned up before Thursday against La Cueva. Again, with the final 45-34, Hobbs got 9 points in the fourth quarter. Carlsbad with 10, so they did outscore them by 1 point, but that was enough to erase an 11-point deficit.
And I find it absolutely charming that an 11-point deficit, 11-point victory, rather, we had an 11-point margin on the rebounds. I think that's a number that kind of runs hand in hand in this case, and I think that was a big factor tonight.
And again, I mentioned this a few minutes ago, too. That 11-point margin is the exact margin that Hobbs defeated Carlsbad in the second round back in 2020. The winner won the state championship with that 29-1 record, went on to beat Volcano Vista by 15 that year. So exact same situation, not the same exact score, but pretty close to that. Of course, Hobbs also won back in 2018 as well. They didn't play Carlsbad that year, but still. So there are some similarities. And I should mention, too, in terms of the opponent that they're playing, La Cueva, the number 3 seed. They won tonight, as you mentioned the score earlier. 20-6, or make it 21-6 now at the win tonight. They were 9-1 in district. They actually lost to Oregon Mountain this year by 4 earlier, not the game tonight, but 64-60. They also had a win against Farmington, a team that Hobbs lost to at the Hobbs Holiday Tournament, 51-49. They beat them by 2, and Farmington's the number 4 seed. They beat Piedra Vista by 8, a team that Hobbs just played last week, and they won by double digits against them, but still they beat them. And they beat Sandia last week in the first round, 41-32, kind of a low-scoring game there. So La Cueva was 9-1 in their district. Farmington right behind them at 8-2, and again, Farmington did defeat the Hobbs Lady Eagles about a month or so back. So kind of giving you a taste what to expect out of this team. La Cueva, again, number 3 seed. They're going to be facing the Hobbs Lady Eagles. Should be a battle there at the pit. And, of course, like you mentioned a minute ago, the venue is exciting, the place to play. You got to get kind of used to it in terms of the depth perception and a bigger court type of feel and fans there as well. Not quite sure how many will show up for La Cueva for that 11:30 start time, but it is the next to last game of the state tournament in the 5A, so it's an important ball game.
It is, and as you know, Hobbs Lady Eagles, they travel well. So you're going to have quite a few people at that game, and even more so if they make the finals. And what a great venue it is. I tell you what, I love New Mexico State basketball when they get to the pit. It is absolutely amazing environment, and it's fun to be at for sure.
I didn't get a chance to ask Coach Carpenter what time they're leaving tomorrow. Usually they do the send-offs at 8 o'clock. I'd imagine that's be what they're going to do tomorrow. But they have to get to Roswell, I mentioned, for the NMAA practice session. And then they will play, again, Thursday, the day after tomorrow, at 11:30 at the pit. And then quick turnaround. They win that when they got a 6 o'clock championship game on Friday to deal with, too. So not giving a lot of teams rest. It does give a little advantage to those Albuquerque squads like La Cueva that they're playing. It doesn't have to worry about the travel and the practice sessions out of town and all that stuff. So,
certainly.
So Coach, before I shut my mouth for a minute here, the Hobbs boys tomorrow night, you and I will be back together here at Tasker Arena, of course, with the boys taking on a tough team coming out of the Albuquerque area again, a Trisco Heritage, 19-8 record for them, 4-4 in the league. Pretty big battle for their district tournament and stuff like that going on. So that's why the record is a 500 there in the district. This Trisco Heritage coming off their victory in the playoffs. They knocked off El Dorado, of course. El Dorado played in the same league that we saw the team that we played last week, Farmington. That was a kind of a big battle going on in that district. They beat them only by 4 points, 62-58. So they're ready to go. But they're having a big travel coming down here from Albuquerque, and we see that can be an advantage for the Eagles, especially this year where you got to host 2 first-round games. What are your thoughts on that one, of course, with the boys trying to punch their ticket to the semifinals on Friday?
Well, I think not only the travel, them having to come this far, but then having to contend with press and us pushing the ball up court after sitting on a long bus ride like that and being stiff. It's hard. It's hard to deal with that. There's a lot of factors. You don't have as many fans traveling that far as well, and you're playing in a hostile environment. So many factors work against them, but you know what? None of that matters. You're still lacing them up between 96 feet, and you got to play in the hardwood.
And they've got some very similar wins against teams that we've beaten by double digits. Los Lunas, Oregon Mountain, also a couple other ones on the list there too. So that it looks very similar. You know, the chances that we have to play the same teams that they do. Rio Rancho, we both won. In a good fashion there. We both beat Cleveland by double digits. So you go on down the list and you see some very big similarities on scores, but again, not having a chance to physically see them and what they have to offer. A lot of video available now, which coaches didn't have 10, 15 years ago to watch every single play of a ball game. So maybe that'll help one of these teams get over the hump.
Oh, sure. Everything's put on YouTube and social media. You know, you no longer have to drive 4 hours and meet somebody halfway someplace to exchange film. So it's a bonus today. You know, there's no secrets in the game, that's for sure.
I'm sure the fans here are going to be expecting a packed house. The sixth man needs to come in droves here to make sure they put this Southeast squad into the pit there and to make some noise. Of course, next up would be probably Las Cruces. They got a game tomorrow night too, but Las Cruces High still undefeated on the season, and they're looking for a semifinal as well.
And, you know, that's a team that we're kind of licking our chops to get another shot at. We were in that game into the fourth quarter and playing good basketball, and the wheels came off the wagon just for about 2 minutes there. And when that happened, the game got out of hand. So I think that our boys just want another shot. They want them again, and they know what Las Cruces has, and they think they can handle them.
Again, tomorrow night, that'll be a 6 o'clock tip-off. We'll be on the air about 15 or so minutes before. We'll go live here on our sister station, Cool 95.7, also on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube. But let's wrap it up here with the girls getting that win tonight, Coach.
Absolutely wonderful. It's nice to see them go on and see how far this crew can go. And really, I'm impressed with how far this team's come. You know, since they took those 4 losses in a row, you've seen this group grow and grow and grow. And now they're growing in the playoffs as well.
45-34 the final. Lady Eagles win by 11 and finish up here at Tasker this season. A final record of 22-7. And, of course, they were undefeated at 6-0 as well. 12-game winning streak for the Lady Eagles, too. So it should be exciting stuff. You just want to repeat what we got going on Thursday and from there?
Yeah, Thursday it's going to be an 11 o'clock start up there.
11:30.
11:30. And it's going to be La Cueva, and it's going to be a barn burner of a game for sure.
So exciting to have you with us tonight. We'll be back with you tomorrow night again, about 5:45 for the pregame show. Tip-off at 6 o'clock, Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. You want to thank you can thank
absolutely.
the 2 sisters we got to get in here first.
We got the 2 sisters here. Evie's running the camera for you. Did an absolute phenomenal job tonight. And Tiff back at the station doing our engineering. We're thankful for both of them because of the great job that they do. They keep us going. So we really appreciate them.
Allison Friend, Jessica Friend on the scoreboard tonight, of course, and it wouldn't work with you not having all the parts going in one motion.
Absolutely,
here, right?
Absolutely. And it's great that we're able to give you this to you on both video and radio. So final score, Lady Eagles win 45-34 on the La Cueva. We'll catch you live there. Good night.
You're clear.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.